If you've ever struggled in your relationship with food, maybe you've been losing control, maybe you've been to therapy about it, maybe you've seen a coach, and I bet this term has come up at least once. Sit with your feelings. I know how frustrating it can be when someone says that, because for the longest time, I would rather have climbed Everest than sit alone with my thoughts and feelings for 30 minutes. Hey, my name's Marcus. I'm a nutrition coach specializing in binge eating, stress management, and recovery. And if you've ever been told to sit with your feelings and you don't like it, this video is for you. Because there is a huge problem regarding this phrase, sit with your feelings, and most of our ideas around it. And I'm going to fix that for you today. Because avoiding our feelings, feeling like we need to do things to constantly numb or escape from what we're feeling, is a huge player when it comes to not just binge eating, but things like alcohol, needing to rely on constant distractions, things like doom scrolling, technology addiction, or whatever people are calling that now. Most of us get into trouble when we are constantly trying to avoid or numb or escape what it is that we're thinking and feeling, because being alone with ourselves, undistracted, just feels like too much. And 100% this was me for a very, very long time while I was struggling with binge eating and alcohol. But in short, the ability to tolerate whatever we're feeling, to not need to escape whatever we're feeling, that is a key part of resilience. Because when we can't do that and we're constantly relying on all these different ways to escape or numb what we're feeling, that's when the door for less than ideal coping strategies can creep in. So if you've ever struggled with this idea of being able to sit with your feelings, if someone has told you to meditate and you're like, fuck off, I would rather sleep on a bed of nails for a decade, you're not alone. There are two things here that I'm going to set right about this term, sit with your feelings, and the unhelpful ideas that brings about. My first issue with the phrase sit with your feelings that I would like to correct is the phrase itself and what it implies. The term sit with your feelings kind of insinuates that we're just meant to notice that we're having a difficult feeling and then just marinate in it and just sit there with it, which is not the goal. The goal is to allow space for difficult feelings while just being able to get on with your day, developing some strategies and skills, and in turn a level of resilience around those feelings to the point where you can be going about your day, doing what you do in a way that is aligned with your values without needing whatever that feeling is to just go away as quickly as possible. So this phrase, sit with your feelings, I don't like the implication because it implies that the moment you feel something, you're meant to just sit there and marinate in it. But that's not the goal. So when I say continue your day in a values-aligned way, it means that you can have a difficult feeling, be experiencing something hard, and still cook dinner, still go and see a friend, still send that email. It doesn't mean just like, oh, I'm experiencing anxiety. Oh, this sucks. No. So when you hear someone say sit with your feelings, sometimes it can be helpful to literally sit and practice some mindfulness or some kind of meditation or something while allowing space for a feeling, just as an exercise, in the same way that you might go to the gym and lift something heavy in order to get stronger. You might spend some undistracted moments with a difficult feeling just to build your resilience around that feeling and your ability to frame that in a constructive way. But when you hear that term, sit with your feelings, it essentially means to be able to allow space for whatever you're feeling without distracting from it, without diving into some kind of destructive or avoidant coping strategy, and just continue about your day in a values-aligned way. Like, what would you be doing right now if that feeling hadn't come up? Can you continue to do that while just acknowledging that this feeling is along for the ride at the moment? Second thing I want to clarify around this whole sit with your feelings thing is a trap that so many people fall into. So when I describe this, if you feel like, oh my God, that's me, I'm doing that, please don't feel called out. Everyone does it. But it is a huge trap, and it's going to make life very, very difficult for you if we don't change it up, if we don't do something about this. And this trap is, when people say sit with your feelings, thinking that means to sit with your thoughts. Sitting with your feelings and sitting with your thoughts or allowing space for your feelings and allowing space for your thoughts are two very, very different things. Sitting alone with your thoughts while you're experiencing distressing emotions and thinking that that is the same thing as sitting with your feelings is a huge trap, and it's going to make life very, very unpleasant. Because sitting with your thoughts is just like ruminating and spiraling mentally. But sitting with our feelings is about being present with the often difficult physical, visceral sensation that accompanies difficult emotions. So feelings are sensory. Like with anxiety, for example, I experience like a nausea and a kind of tightness right here in the center of my body and tension in my muscles and almost like a lightheadedness. When I'm experiencing sadness, I kind of feel this heavy, deflated kind of feeling in my body. When I'm experiencing happiness or joy, it's a very light, energized kind of buzz type feeling. Visceral, sensory. But thoughts are the narratives and the spirals that accompany these difficult feelings, or sometimes follow these difficult feelings through the door. Like anxiety, for example, you might be able to identify the difference in the physical sensation that you experience while having some anxiety versus the thoughts that you experience. The thoughts around anxiety, for me, like, I just think everyone is mad with me. The moment I experience any kind of anxiety, I start thinking that everyone's mad with me, and all these stories and narratives and, worst case scenario type things start appearing in my mind. But those aren't feelings. Those are thoughts. More specifically, those are thoughts that are the products of cognitive distortions or thinking traps. We can get into that another day. But thoughts, that's what's up there that's really distressing, right? Everyone's mad with me. I suck. I can't get this right. I'm never gonna, etc., etc. Feeling is nausea, tension, slight shortness of breath. If we can make space for how difficult and uncomfortable some of these visceral feelings are and allow that, while actually being quite discerning about what thoughts we engage in or what thoughts we believe, that is going to increase your resilience, your ability to move through difficult emotions and difficult feelings, difficult situations, while taking action that you're proud of. So why this really matters, if you mix this up and think that sitting with your thoughts is the same thing as sitting with your feelings, you're going to just sit there and spiral, and the thoughts are going to exacerbate the difficult feelings and create this snowball effect that is going to take you nowhere that you want to go. If you're able to sit with your feelings, the visceral discomfort of challenging emotions, you build resilience, you build your ability to regulate through those emotions and through those experiences. And in doing so, you become less reliant on coping strategies that aren't serving you, like binge eating, for example. If there is no emotion or feeling strong enough to make you need to binge, then you're in a pretty good place. Now, this applies much more to emotional eating and stress eating than it does the genuine physical hunger that's associated with maybe very rigid dieting. Important to differentiate between those two. But if you're a stress eater, if you eat emotionally, if you're using food to medicate difficult feelings, this is something really important to keep in mind, especially if you've been told to be able to or to practice sitting with your feelings. So the practical application of this: recognize when you're experiencing a difficult emotion or difficult feeling. Notice when it comes up. Then we self-validate. We notice what we're feeling and frame it in such a way that it's not weird. You might practice recognizing that, all right, given where I am in my life, given where I've been, the experiences that I've had and what I'm working through right now, it's not weird that this feeling has come up. And this is where self-awareness plays into the resilience piece in a very, very important way, because our ability to experience a feeling and frame it as, oh, okay, this might be to be expected in the current circumstances, that can increase our resilience. So self-validating, that's the second step after noticing what's going on. Then we make an active choice not to numb or try and escape from what we're feeling. We focus on the physical feeling, visceral experience of it and ask ourselves, can I just allow this to be while I go about my day? Can I relax my breathing? Can I address any tension that I'm holding in my body? Take a few relaxed breaths, and despite this being uncomfortable, can I continue with taking values-based action rather than action that's driven in compulsion and avoidance? And if you're watching this right now, looking at my lighting situation, watching it go light, then dark, then light, then dark, I'm sorry, I live in England, there's a window right there, and the clouds are just constantly passing over the sun. I can't get 30 seconds of straight sunlight in this country reliably, at least. I know we've had a great summer, so no one in England come at me, but if you're watching this, bear with me. This is not a high production scenario. So I hope this is something useful you can use when you hear that phrase, sit with your feelings, in future. It doesn't mean you just have to sit there and marinate in it. And when we say sitting with your feelings, we mean sit with the visceral experience of the feeling, not to spiral mentally with all or nothing thinking and, worst case scenario thinking and all the other fun stuff that comes with difficult emotions. It means be with the feeling in the body. Because when we do this, we actually create a faster path to the difficult feelings resolving themselves and moving through us anyway. When we take avoidant action, we kick the can of the difficult feelings down the road where we inevitably are going to just find them again, often very soon. And when we do that, it's usually gotten bigger. So if you've ever used food, for example, to numb a really difficult feeling, you'll know what it's like to do that, to buy yourself that short window of numbness and then just feel even worse. So if you can make space for feelings and go about your day without feeling the need or the obligation to just sit there and mentally spiral, it's going to improve your situation. I know we've covered a lot of ground in this video, and this can get a little bit more complex in practice. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. My name's Marcus, this was Strong Not Starving, and I'll see you next time.